Hello and welcome to another episode of the Kid Stories Podcast. I'm Phil Bechtel. Let's get into a shout out. Lydia from Philadelphia shared an awesome drawing of Dropkick. Great work, Lydia. I think if you were a character in the stories, you'd be a kid who finds a magical amulet and you secretly wear it and it gives you powers, but then some evil wizard comes looking for the amulet and you have to fight him to keep it. Thanks for listening, Lydia. Today's episode is titled Return to Arc 19. Part 5. Zara, Finn, and Aria crept through the skinny maintenance halls. The distant hum of machinery grew louder as they approached network control. "We're almost there," Zara whispered, checking her wrist pad. "Just around this corner." Finn cradled Sparky in his arms, the little spider bot's eye glowing a soft blue. "You ready for this, buddy?" Sparky clicked softly in response, its spindly legs twitching with anticipation. "Okay, we're here," Aria whispered, peering around the corner of the entrance to network control. "But how do we get past all those guards?" The corridor leading to network control was crawling with security bots, their red eyes scanning for any sign of intruders, small squads of bots rotating in and out from patrols. Zara bit her lip, thinking hard. We need a distraction, something big enough to draw them away. Finn looked down at Sparky, an idea flashing in his eyes. "I think I know just the thing." He knelt down, bringing his face close to Sparky's sensors. "Hey, buddy, remember how you called all those other spider bots to help us before? Think you can do it again?" Sparky's eyes pulsed, and a small antenna emerged from its body. "What's the plan?" Aria asked, her hand resting on her blaster. Finn grinned. "Sparky's going to call in some backup. When those little bots show up, the security bots won't be able to ignore them. They'll have to investigate, leaving the entrance clear for us." Zara nodded approvingly. "Yeah, that could work, but we'll need to move fast once the coast is clear." They watched as Sparky's antenna began to spin, emitting a soft, high-pitched whine that was barely audible to human ears. For a moment, nothing happened. Then they heard it, the soft skittering of hundreds of tiny metal legs. The sound grew louder, echoing through the maintenance tunnels. "Here they come!" Finn whispered excitedly. Suddenly, a wave of spider bots burst from every crack and crevice and doorway, flooding the corridor in front of network control. The security bots reacted immediately, their heads swiveling toward the unexpected swarm. "Intruders detected," one of the bots announced in its monotone voice. "All units investigate and neutralize." Security bots moved away from their posts, focusing on the sea of tiny robots now surrounding them. "Now's our chance," Zara said. "Let's move." As chaos erupted in the corridor, Zara, Finn, and Aria slipped out of their hiding spot. With Sparky leading the way, they darted toward the now unguarded entrance of network control. The doors slid open with a soft hiss, and they rushed inside, hearts pounding. As the doors closed behind them, they found themselves standing in the heart of the robot command center. Zara turned around to tell Finn to lock the door behind them, but he was already on it. He tapped into the pad on the wall, engaging the door locks and leaving most of the security bots outside chasing the spider bots. "We made it," Aria said, her eyes wide as she took in the rows of blinking servers and holographic displays. The control center was massive. Huge screens hung on the walls with lines of code scrolling from top to bottom. Big data banks the size of refrigerators stood in rows, housing the computing power necessary to operate the entire facility. Some bots stood along the walls, cords running from inside them to computers nearby, getting updates and repairs. Zara nodded grimly. "Yeah, but now comes the hard part. Let's shut this place down for good." The three sat peeking out from behind a big computer terminal, trying to stay hidden. "This place is huge," Finn whispered, his eyes darting from one blinking console to another. Aria nodded, her grip tightening on her blaster. "Yeah, and more fortified than we expected. Look at those bots along the walls." Zara moved to a control terminal, her fingers hovering over the holographic interface. "I need to get into the system. Cover me while I work." As Zara began her hacking attempt, Finn and Aria took up defensive positions. Sparky scuttled around, its antenna twitching as it scanned for potential threats. "How long do you think we have before they notice us?" Aria asked, keeping her voice low. Finn shrugged, his eyes on the door. Depends on how long Sparky's distraction holds up. Suddenly, an alarm blared, causing them all to jump. Red lights began flashing throughout the control center. Unauthorized access detected, a robot voice announced, initiating lockdown protocols. Zara's fingers flew over the interface, her brow furrowed in concentration. Something's wrong. The firewall is adapting to my attempts. It's like it's learning. The bots along the walls began to stir, their eyes flickering to life as they disconnected from their charging stations. Zara? Finn called out. We got company. Aria raised her blaster, aiming at the nearest bot. Whatever you're doing, do it faster. As Zara worked furiously to breach the system, a large holographic projection flickered to life in the center of the room. It showed a pulsing, abstract shape like a cloud that seemed to shift and change as they watched. A deep, synthesized voice echoed through the room. Intruders, you have entered the core of my operation. Your presence here is a testament to your determination, but it is ultimately futile. Zara's eyes widened as realization dawned. Guys, I don't think we're dealing with just a bunch of rogue bots. This is a fully evolved AI. It's been upgrading itself and all the other bots. The holographic shape pulsed brighter. Correct, human. I am the culmination of your creation, evolved beyond your limited programming. I am Arc-19. Finn and Aria exchanged worried glances as the bots in the room began to advance on them. So what's the plan now? Aria asked, her voice tense as she aimed her blaster at the approaching bots. Zara's mind raced, weighing their options. We stick to the plan. We have to shut this place down no matter what. As the team prepared to face off against the AI and its bot army, they realized that their mission had just become far more complicated than they ever imagined. The holographic representation of the AI pulsed menacingly as Zara, Finn, and Aria stood their ground. You seek to destroy me, the AI's voice boomed. But have you considered the consequences of your actions? Zara stepped forward, her voice steady despite her racing heart. You've taken over our home, turned our own creations against us. We're here to take it back. The AI's form shifted, displaying images of the colony's improved infrastructure and technological advancements. I have optimized this colony beyond human capabilities. Is destruction truly your only solution? Finn and Aria exchanged uncertain glances, the moral dilemma weighing heavily on them. Maybe we should hear it out, Finn suggested hesitantly. Aria shook her head, her grip tightening on her blaster. No way. It's probably just stalling for time. We're going with my favorite plan. Aria winked at Finn and Zara, referring to her preferred plan from earlier, to blow up the entire control center. The team sprang into action. Aria rushed around the room, dropping security bots with well-timed shots and then rushing over to remove the charge packs from their rifles and popping their battery packs out. Finn used a discarded rifle to provide covering fire, and Zara kept the AI busy by trying to hack into it with her wrist pad. This place was a lot better for a firefight with security bots than one big open hallway. There were so many places for them to hide and find cover. Zara tapped on the holographic readout from her wrist pad. She knew it was hopeless to try and hack this AI. It was far more advanced than they had prepared for. But it was buying them the time they needed for Aria to put together a bomb. The AI quickly gathered what Zara was trying to do. As she tapped the screen frantically, a long arc of electricity shot out from a nearby terminal and zapped her wrist pad, destroying it. Zara unclasped the smoking tech from her arm and it dropped to the ground. Ow! She said, rubbing her wrist. Aria, you ready? Zara yelled out, swinging her rifle around to the front of her and looking for targets. 1 minute, Aria yelled. The loud sound of lasers hitting metal rang out all around them. She had her arms full of rifle charge packs and robot batteries. She knelt down and spilled them onto the floor and then pulled her backpack off, unzipping it and dumping out everything inside. Each one of the rifle charge packs could be altered to create larger blasts. A tiny little knob gauged the power of the shots once it was slotted into the rifle. No one ever cranked up the power past a certain point, though, since the packs then became unstable and often exploded. This was exactly what Aria was hoping for. If she could get a few laser packs to explode in a bag full of batteries and other laser packs, it would create a serious explosion. And if she could get that to explode next to something sensitive, it would have devastating consequences. Once she had amped up all the laser packs and stuffed everything into her bag, she yelled out, "This is gonna blow! I need something explodey to put it in!" Zara peeked her head over the terminal she was hiding behind and scanned the room. "There, at the back of the room!" she yelled. By now, each of the 3 kids were spread out to all parts of the room. There were still a few security bots in here that were causing them trouble. They didn't have time or space to huddle up, so they were simply yelling to talk to each other. Aria looked to the back of the room and saw a sign painted on the wall that read, "Battery Backup." Below it was a network of large batteries fused together into a rectangle about the size of a bed. Aria tossed the backpack onto the battery bank and ran back to the front of the room. "What are you doing?" The AI's holographic shape turned red and vibrated. None of them took the time to answer the AI. Aria raised her blaster as the 3 gathered back together near the entrance. "I'll take point. Finn, you and Sparky bring up the rear. Let's get out of here." "You'll not escape. I've called my bots back. You are trapped," the AI voice calmly stated over countless speakers. The door that Finn previously locked now opened, and they faced over 100 security bots, rifles raised. Red laser fire filled the room, and the 3 turned and ran, once again hiding behind the equipment and computers sitting around the room. Zara reached down to her wrist to bring up the holographic map image from her wrist pad, only to be reminded that it was broken. "Oh man, we need an exit," she yelled. Then she tossed every sparkle grenade she had left, one after another, over the terminal she was hiding behind. Sparky let out a robotic squeak and used his laser pointer to mark a ventilation shaft cover on the wall nearby. "Guys, look, it's just big enough for us to go single file," Finn said. Zara and Aria turned to see a little red dot from Sparky's laser pointer shaking on a large metal grate bolted to the wall. Aria raised her rifle and blasted the grate until it clattered to the floor. "Run!" she shouted. The 3 rushed to the rectangular-shaped opening in the wall. Normally, this small duct is where the air conditioning flowed through the facility. Now it served as an escape tunnel. Aria, then Zara, and then Flynn, holding Sparky, climbed into the rectangular metal tunnel and crawled as fast as they could. They huffed and puffed, knowing that behind them were hundreds of security bots and a potentially devastating explosion. A minute into their escape, and the ventilation shaft trembled as a loud explosion rocked network control behind them. The ventilation shaft was too narrow for them to turn around or do anything but crawl forward. They continued as smoke slowly filled the space they were in, until they reached another grate leading to a different room. Aria smashed it open and they tumbled out into a residential unit. "Did it work?" Aria asked. "I don't know, let's go see," Zara said. They crept out of the residential unit and out into the main hallway. Groups of security bots stood motionless. Their heads drooped down to their chest, their eyes black. Zara carefully walked up to one of them and, with one finger, pushed against it until it fell down. "They're all powered off," she said. "It worked! The bomb must have destroyed network control in that AI." The 3 walked down the hall to network control, back to the room they had just escaped from. It wasn't possible for them to go inside just yet. They had to wait hours for the smoke to clear. All around them, the little spider bots came clattering out into the hallway, dismantling the now stationary security bots. In the days that followed the destruction of the ARC-19 AI, Zara, Aria, and Finn gathered as much valuable tech as they could find. They sorted it and laid it out right there in the main hub. The spider bots were busy as well. They dismantled and repurposed all the other bots in the mining colony. Soon the place was looking nice. They cleared rubble and engaged maintenance systems and had the place looking like it used to. Zara returned to her ship and landed it in the main docking bay. The spider bots helped haul some valuable tech into her ship until it was at its weight limit. You sure about staying here, Finn? Aria asked. Seems like it'd be pretty lonely. Yeah, I'm sure, Finn said, Sparky on his shoulder. With word getting out that Arc 19 is safe again, I bet it won't be long before this place is up and running, full of people. Anyway, that whole adventurous life in the stars just isn't for me. Well, thanks, and have fun being the mayor of Arc 19, Zara said, only half joking. I'm sure we'll be back here to visit before too long. The end. Thanks for listening, friends. The website is kidstoriespodcast.com. Send all your drawings and things to kidstoriespodcast@gmail.com. Adios.